Okay, I get it. Talk too much, like a wrestler. That should have been my side job. I could be a manager for pro wrestling. I think I need to be the manager of a pro wrestling mixed tag group. I think that would be good. I don't know if I could come up with some really good roasts, but maybe I could work on it since apparently I talk too much. All right, so I'm going to try to make this quick because we're just going to talk today about prokaryotic versus eukaryotic cells. Easy peasy. Again, people ask me all the time, why do I need to learn this? Why are we learning this? Miss Huff, cells are boring. First of all, wrong. They're not. They're like these little mini universes inside of us, and they make us up. And we still don't know all the stuff about them. So they're very interesting. And even if you're not interested, you're made of cells. You probably should know what you're made out of and how you work. Probably, you're alive. Again, when people are like, why do I need to learn science? Some people think the earth is flat. Some people think because you can't see viruses, they must not be real. So clearly, we need more science. So next time you're thinking, why do I need to learn this? Science is literally important. So what do you need to know? There's quite a few things you need to know about cells that you should know. They're pretty cool. But today we're going to talk about different types of cells. How can you tell them apart from each other? Later, we'll talk about organelles, their jobs, their functions, and why do some cells look different from other cells. We'll talk about those things, not today. Today, we're just going to talk about two types of cells. So the two main categories we can start breaking cells up into are either prokaryotic cells or eukaryotic cells. So I always remember you have a eukaryotic cell. Here they are. You have one. And prokaryotic cells, I've heard this from other places, so I can't say it's mine. But pro sounds like no, they rhyme. No nucleus, no organelles. Not you. It's a bacteria. So let's start going kind of into them. One thing I want to point out with this picture that I don't like, I wanted you to be able to see a visual comparison of them right next to each other. But one thing I don't really like about that is, for the most part, eukaryotic cells are much, much larger than prokaryotic cells. I think between 10 and 100 times larger. So this picture isn't totally accurate because it kind of depicts them as the same size, and they're not. Let's start with that. Let's start with looking at prokaryotic cells. Ew, Ms. Huff, this cell looks like a hairy pill. Yeah, kind of gross. They maybe shouldn't have colored it pink, I guess. Anyway, prokaryotic cells are only bacteria cells. So these are all unicellular, which means single-celled or one-cell creatures. They're much smaller than eukaryotic cells. So if we were looking at them under a microscope, we would need to use the highest power of microscope and some special staining techniques to see them, or we'd have to look at them under a slide. We'd actually have to add some little oil and stuff to be able to see them better. You can see them under a regular microscope, but they're very, very, very small. And if we looked at our own cells under a microscope, you'd probably be surprised at how small those are too. So these are even smaller. They don't have membrane-bound organelles. So that's kind of an important phrase. A lot of times when you see test questions, they're going to word it like that. What does that mean? Well, organelles that have membranes are things like a vacuole, mitochondria, the nucleus, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi. A lot of them are membranes. So prokaryotic cells don't have any of those inside of them. Well, what's inside? Because I see a lot of stuff in there. Well, we've got some DNA in this nucleoid region. So they have a chromosome here. Their DNA could also be in a little loop, a little circle called a plasmid. So this is DNA, this green and this red. All right, what about these little dots here? Those are ribosomes. Those are organelles, but they are not membrane bound. They're just made of ribosomal RNA and protein. So they're not in a little bubble, a little membrane. This is just food that's inside of it. And then there's cytoplasm. There's not a whole lot going on inside these prokaryotic cells. DNA, ribosomes, cytoplasm. That's really it. So the DNA kind of floats around in this region or in a little plasmid, but there's no nucleus to protect it. Oh no! And outside, so what's on the outside, they have a cell membrane. All cells, prokaryotic, eukaryotic, they all have a cell membrane. And prokaryotic cells also usually have a cell wall. They can have these little sticky outy things called pili. They could have a capsule or slime layer. Ew. A lot of them will have a flagellum. That means one. Flagella is more than one. A lot of them have flagella to move around. Most animal cells don't have flagella. Most plant cells don't. Sperm cells, which male animals make, can have flagella, or do usually. But most animal and plant cells don't have flagella. Let's talk about eukaryotic cells. You have that. That's yours. Okay, so that's how I try to remember that. They're a little bit more exciting than prokaryotic cells, as you can see. Plant and animal cells are examples. We also have fungal cells. Usually in school we don't talk about fungi. Why not? They're cool. If I could go back and do things over, I might be a mycologist. Those are people that study fungi. Wouldn't that be fun? Me and like 200 other people on the planet think that's fun. So yeah, I guess it is fun. All right. So these can be plant or animal cells or fungal cells. Fungal cells, by the way, can be kind of different. I should talk about this later, but they have characteristics of animal cells and plant cells. Ooh, that's just exciting. Okay, but anyway, eukaryotic cells are larger than prokaryotic cells. There's a lot of stuff in there. Look at all it's busy. What did Cecilia say? It looks like macaroni and cheese. My macaroni and cheese doesn't look like that when I pull it out of the oven, but maybe I'm doing something wrong. So there's a lot of these membrane-bound organelles. We'll spend a whole video, talking just about these organelles and their function. When you hear the word function, I want you to think of job. That's their job. What jobs do they do? They took my job. Do you guys watch South Park? Maybe you shouldn't. Okay? I don't know. You're maybe not old enough to watch it. Although I remember being young and my friends watching South Park, but never mind. Never mind. Our DNA is safely enclosed in a lovely nucleus to keep our precious DNA safe from damage. Thank you, nucleus. So that's one big thing that separates eukaryotic cells from prokaryotic cells. We have a nice, lovely, friendly nucleus. All of these cells have a cell membrane. Some of them have a cell wall, like plant cells, fungal cells, but animal cells do not have a cell wall. So not all eukaryotic cells have a cell wall. Okay, they all have a cell membrane, not all have a cell wall. So those are the main differences. What are some similarities? They have cytoplasm, they contain ribosomes, they contain DNA. They're both cells. Okay, so those are the kind of things that you should know. Do I have this? No, girl. I was going to see if I had a comparison for you, but those are the things you can use to compare prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, and I secretly flash forwarded so you could see that we can talk about animal cells and plant cells. We'll talk about that when we talk about organelles. It'll be a little bit longer because there's a lot of organelles. All right, that's it. I mean, sure, we could talk tons more, but I won't for once. All right, I hope that helps. I hope you guys got a little bit better understanding of prokaryotic, eukaryotic cells, and I'll see you later. Bye!